6. A theater review is about place. A show occupies a space. The work sits in relation to other works. The reviewer has a deep knowledge of other work. The review is a macro view that looks at the many shows and places this performance in that space. They understand the mosaic or the Venn diagram where all the work sits. The production in this context.
That's a very, very important one. So many people say, and I do this. It's natural with me. If a new play, and I say, well, that's really just Oscar Wilde in this. That's really just Noel Coward. That's really just Shakespeare. That's really Arthur Miller, Tennessee Williams. And you do that, and people go, well, people don't know those plays, Louis. That's not my fault that they don't know those plays. But I'm sure the director did. I'm sure that the writer did. I'm sure that the actors did. And so those are the people I'm talking to when I make those references. I say, I saw what you as a writer were doing. I saw what you as a director were doing. I saw what you as an actor were doing. And that's what's important. And I think that's what you mean by the play takes place in a time, and it's part of a long history of the theater.
Yeah, and sometimes the play in different time periods too. A play that was written in the 50s, and how does that relate to when it's playing currently today, and what does that do to the?
That's certainly, we just had recently with Tennessee Williams, A Streetcar Named Desire. Now that play is 50 years old. What does it have to say to a modern audience? It's the same thing with the Noel Coward. What does Blithe Spirit have to say to a modern audience? Or are we just looking at it as an old chestnut and it's such a fun thing to go to? That's what you have to look at when you're, and you start talking that way and people go, but you haven't told me about the play. You haven't told me about the plot, yes.
And sometimes of the opposite, in the smaller theaters or at the Fringe, somebody will write a play or, like a week before they put it up, and then you give a review of it, and it's like, this is like 27 other plays, right? It's just because
27 other plays that are at this same festival.
So there's not that awareness of space and time and where that fits.
And many authors that are writing now have that in history of theater, and they're using those old plays, those classics. They're using them, and that's not wrong. That's absolutely not wrong, as long as you're not pretending that you invented the wheel.
Yes. I also find it interesting too, working as a dramaturg on new plays, is that playwrights will pull in elements from all different kinds of plays and then assume that the end piece is going to work. Sort of like making a soup with mashed potatoes and chocolate pudding and carrots, right? They put it all together and go, but these individual components, why did,
Why isn't the broth, at the end, yes.
Yeah.